الله أكبر الله أكبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. We started a little bit last week talking about the sources of the ahkam. Many people, and the famous discussion, somebody will say, I follow Al-Quran wa Sunnah. Quran wa Sunnah is a very famous declaration. Somebody talked to him, for example, do you follow the school of Abu Hanifa? He said, no, I follow Quran and Sunnah. This is a very, and we're going to discuss, this is very important to know, is there contradiction to say I follow this scholar, or I say I follow Quran or Sunnah, I don't follow people. There is some part of it is true, some part of it is wrong. I'm going to explain this. Because the Quran and the Sunnah are the first sources of the Sharia in general, either for the ahkam, the ruling, or for the Qawaid Fiqhiyyah. So always we start from the Quran and the Sunnah and Ijma' and Qiyas. We have to understand these four main sources of the Sharia. We talked a little bit about it last week, but I would like to start with talking about this. Following a scholar, does this contradict the important principle that we follow the Quran and the Sunnah?
No.
When this appear, when the people start saying, no, I follow the Quran and the Sunnah. If there is people who follow other sources than the Quran and the Sunnah. Can somebody give example? What's other things that the people can follow that is not in the Quran and the Sunnah? And ijma', I mean, in this, are there something that is sources?
Tradition.
Yeah?
Tradition, customs.
Customs, traditions. There is a lot of bid'ah. And the concept of bid'ah is a big concept in Islam. How the bid'ah can destroy the religion. The bid'ah that somebody come without proof, without daleel, and establish something in the deen. And start to present it as part of the deen, either ruling or ibadah or worship, anything. Claim that it's from the deen, and you don't have a daleel, proof for it, we call this is bid'ah. So the dangers of the bid'ah that can destroy the whole religion. Why we say that Christianity and Judaism and many other religions, they are wrong? Because the people, they don't have proof for what they are doing. If somebody tell you Jesus is Son of God, very simple question. Where you got this from? They don't find it. They find that somebody 4 or 3 centuries after Isa alayhi salam introduced this dangerous concept to the religion. So the bid'ah can be very dangerous that oppose the teaching of the religion. And this is why we have to be very aware about the bid'ah. And this is why the question comes, what's your proof? What's your daleel? What's your daleel is the biggest and the strongest question that everybody who want to keep the deen pure, you have to hold it. Somebody come to me and say, so and so and so, so Rasul Sallallahu is made of light. Right? I tell him, what's your proof? What's your daleel? This is something, we don't see it in the Quran, we don't see it in the Hadith. None of the Sahaba, they talk about the Rasul Sallallahu as made of nur, light. Or the Qiyas, you don't have proof to use the Qiyas anyway. So, this is why follow the Quran and Sunnah come. Follow the Quran and Sunnah come to block the bid'ah. And the bid'ah, without doubt, is the most dangerous things for the deen. People, they can do things that has no connection to the religion, or they do things that completely oppose the religion. Quran said clearly, قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ يُوحَى إِلَيْهِ. Tell them, this Islam came to in the background. What's the background? That we have Christianity, we have Judaism, we have a lot of people who want to stray far away. One of the main things that Islam come, it's to stop the claim that Isa alayhi salam is Son of God, right? So, Quran closed the door for anybody to claim the same things for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is why Quran repeatedly said, قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ يُوحَى إِلَيْهِ قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا, tell them that I'm a human being like you, that I receive the revelation. So if somebody bring a bid'ah in aqidah or bid'ah in ibadah, somebody come and say this day everybody have to pray 357 rak'ah. Can I say 57? Huh? 358 rak'ah today. If you do this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive all your sin. And so somebody invite what? Ibadah, bid'ah in the ibadah. This is very dangerous. Somebody asked me 2 weeks ago. He went to Florida and somebody is teaching the dua. Dua is Salah ala Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's part of the dua. The dua is correct. What's not correct? It's what he said about this dua. Who said this dua, Allah will forgive every sin in his life or her life. I go back to the hadith. I know that this is the, but I went to the brother. I told him, look, this is the hadith, Bukhari, hadith Muslim, hadith Sahih. Where is the part that he added? He added something very dangerous. Say this dua and all your sin will be forgiven. It's contradicting the teaching of Islam. It's contradicting everything. That it's not about say words. Allah will forgive you without doubt. But tawbah has condition and has shurut, and we don't want to. So we have to be very, very careful when we deal with the deen, with our religion, that we keep it pure without changing. Because this is what happened to the nation before them. So this is the point. This is why this is a very strong. Always the question is to be proper question. What's your daleel? Why? Some people say, I follow Quran and Sunnah. You oppose the majority of the scholars. The scholars say they follow Quran and Sunnah, Ijma' and Qiyas, Istihsan, Istisab, all this, the usul al-fiqh that they say. So you say the proper way, it's what's your daleel? What's your proof? Do you have proof for that or not? And always this question, carry it with you. Man, this is a legitimate question. If somebody come to me and start saying things, we don't say, wow. I ask the question, especially something that I didn't hear before. What's your daleel? Do you have daleel for that or not? This is a very legitimate, very powerful to keep our religion from any changes. This is the dangers of the question, of the answer that somebody said, do you follow Abu Hanifa? He said, no, I follow Quran and Sunnah. What does it indicate?
Ignorance.
No, what's immediately, if I say, do you drive a truck? I said, no, I'm driving car, for example. It means I don't drive truck. This is the answer. When I say, do you follow Abu Hanifa? Say, no, I follow Quran and Sunnah. What this means?
It means that he doesn't recognize the ijtihad or the capability and the knowledge of
okay, this is what else? Very good, very, very, very good. And automatically means Abu Hanifa doesn't follow Quran and Sunnah. If I ask you to follow Abu Hanifa, he said, no, I follow Quran and Sunnah, means Abu Hanifa doesn't follow Quran and Sunnah. This is the hidden part of it, that you bring Abu Hanifa down. You can say, no, I don't follow Abu Hanifa, I follow Imam Malik. No problem. Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik, they are mujtahideen, they are ulama. They follow Quran and Sunnah without doubt, but they are different. You understand? But when you say no, I follow Quran and Sunnah, this is very wrong and dangerous, because me Abu Hanifa doesn't follow Quran and Sunnah. There is nobody from all the scholars that accepted. Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Awza'i, Imam Malik, of course, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, al-Ayyimah, this great Ayyimah, all of them they follow Quran and Sunnah. There is no doubt about this. They know the Quran better than anybody in this life right now. They understand the Sunnah of the Rasul better than anybody. And they understand the Ijma', they understand all of this without doubt. So we don't bring doubt, yes?
But some people are Muslim, but they just say, why does Islam is incomplete? Why I don't have to follow Ijma' or Qiyas? Everything is completed with the Prophet.
Okay, this is the second question. Keep the question, I'll be back to this question. So first of all, follow Quran and Sunnah not everybody can produce a ruling, as we're going to say. Who's the person that produce ruling? Hukum, ahkam. This is halal, this is haram, this is permissible, not permissible. Who's the person who produced this ahkam? Anybody?
Faqih.
Faqih have to be, not only faqih, have to be somebody mujtahid, somebody who achieve, or mufti, so-called mufti. Mufti now is very simple. You go South Africa, 7 years, and you become mufti. In an hour to become mufti, mufti means you are mujtahid, very high level. But anyway, so not anybody can open the Quran and the Hadith and start producing ahkam. So have to be, there is things that everybody know. You open the Quran, Allah talk about sidq, and Allah yuhibbu sadiqeen. But you know, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yuhibbu al-mustaghfirin wal-mustaghfirina bil-ashar. There is no problem about the general understanding of the Quran. You open Quran, you see. You open the Sunnah, you understand it. But when it comes to producing ruling, halal and haram, it's not an easy thing to do. It needs somebody who knows the Quran, so we call mujtahid. Who's mujtahid? Is a person who has a qualification to produce ruling and ahkam. Doesn't mean that only the mujtahid read the Quran. No, any Muslim can read the Quran and be affected by the Quran. But when it comes to ruling halal and haram, this pizza that he brought it, brother Jazakallahu khairan, is halal or haram? The people say the pizza is haram because of the cheese and everything in it. Who qualified to say that this product is halal, acceptable or not? Not everybody. You have to have level of ilm, understanding, and allowed you to produce. What's the knowledge that you have to know? You have to know Quran, you have to know the Sunnah, you have to know the Ijma', your Qiyas, and all you have the tools of producing hukum. When the person said, I follow Quran and Sunnah, so the mughalata we call it, the hidden wrong idea first, that the others, they don't follow Quran and Sunnah. Number two,
the niyyah is not intent to be that way, who doesn't follow. It's also behind the niyyah as well. You know, what's your intention?
What's your intention? Of course, if I said Abu Hanifa, no, I follow Quran and Sunnah, most probably they don't even recognize Abu Hanifa as follower of Quran and Sunnah. Because if you know that Abu Hanifa is follow Quran and Sunnah, I follow him because he follow Quran and Sunnah. But this is in purpose. Second things that it's hidden there, that I'm able, because I follow Quran and Sunnah, I'm able to produce ahkam from Quran and Sunnah. So to see what the other side. Again, we have to fix what we say. When I say I follow Quran and Sunnah, means am I able to produce ahkam from Quran and Sunnah? No. I'm not qualified. Not everybody qualified to produce ahkam. Only mujtahid. What's going to happen here? I said I'm not going to follow the school of fiqh. I'm going to make my own school. I'm going to make my own school, and this is exactly what happened history in last decades. We have many schools that been produced. You destroy these great imams and their ruling and their ijtihad, and you produce, everybody become mufti, everybody become what? Become producer of the ahkam, because it's just need Quran and Sunnah. And this is the second dangerous point that we'd like to. Not everybody is qualified to understand. So,
just a comment.
Yes.
I agree with you
Go
say
ahead.
with this comment, but
Yeah.
what you said about the others. Just a comment for normal people. If you tell them you're following Maliki, Hanbali, whoever, they don't know about their rules and their fiqh. هم عارفين شيء حاجة.
yeah.
So the common sense, they tell you, well, first I follow the Quran and Sunnah. That's
No. I understand people, they say that from their heart. No, I'm not talking about, okay, well, all of us, we follow Quran and Sunnah. No, I understand. I'm not talking about this level. I'm talking about the level of the scholars or people who believe in this. And this is how we've been divided. Being divided because of this that started in the 60s or early 60s and become become it's wave. Very dangerous. I'm not talking about, of course, all of us will follow.
نتكلم دخل في الفلسفة الإسلامية.
Yeah.
تنافس هذا المستوى.
We talk about the level of producing the ahkam and the fiqh and yeah.
So a lot of time people say that because they believe there is only one path, and they don't recognize the shades in between.
You don't recognize the ikhtilaf.
Yes.
You don't recognize, you don't accept, and this is very good. This is what add to all from all of this. There is only one opinion about everything. Cannot be two opinions about the same matter. And this is very dangerous because the Sahaba themselves, they have a different opinion. And they accept each other. The Tabi'een, the Ayyimma, they used to respect each other more than you think. Even they have a different opinion. When it comes to the fiqh discussion, everybody has his proof and but they are very close brothers and they are friends because it's not about me. It's about the truth and what I think. The rule that the ulama summarize is what I think is correct. What I think is correct. My opinion is correct until I see something different. And your opinion is wrong until I see you convince me. But doesn't mean that we have two words, ikhtilaf and takhaluf. Ikhtilaf, that we have different opinion, there is nothing wrong. But takhaluf, we fighting because of this. And this is applied for the madhab. And this is one of the things that the madhab become what? The madhab become the deen itself. I say, I'm Hanafi. Who are the Muslims? The Ahnaf. What about the others? Some people, they believe that the Hanafi madhab is Islam. If you are not in the Hanafi madhab, most probably you are wrong. And they fight for that. Maliki, everybody else is wrong. This is the most dangerous things that come from the madhab. So we have two things. We accept the ijtihad of the ulama. We keep the door open for ijtihad. Nobody come and close the door. Nobody make ijtihad after me. This is the dangerous. Ijtihad stopped, I think, 4 centuries now. They closed literally, the ulama, they closed the ijtihad. The last one entered, I think, between 4 and 5. The last faqih come from, I have a discussion now, right now, about divorce in the Deoband opinion, about the 3 talaq, 3. Somebody came and tell his wife, you are divorced 3 times. That's it. For them, it's done. And that's it. I explained to them there is a different opinion. She brought me the fatwa of Deoband, which in all respect, there is no problem. But when you brought fatwa, what the Deoband did, and many other groups, of course, not only the Ahnaf, what they did, they closed, they wrote their books, and the last one came, closed the door. There is no other opinion, there is no other ijtihad, it's done. They don't even listen to you when you tell them how come you divorce somebody who's been divorced. When I say divorce, one time, the person is divorced. I say divorce second time. How come you divorce somebody who's been already divorced? You divorce them again. So you divorce somebody who's been divorced twice without, you're not married. You're not married. You didn't marry back to divorce, as Allah said in the Quran. So they don't even want to listen to you. And the idea, the dangers that the people close the ijtihad. No more opinion, no more ijtihad. If you are outside of the madhab, maybe you are Muslim, but you are on the wrong path. If they are really good, and these people, they don't pray behind any other of the ayyim. They don't pray. The salat is wrong, is batila. This is the most dangerous approach to the madhab. If you see the different opinion among the student of Abu Hanifa himself, you'll be shocked. How open and flexible mind this ulama, the ashab, we call them, the student of Abu Hanifa, very open, and they listen to each other, and the discussion between them and Imam Shafi'i, it's an amazing debate of fiqh with depth. These people ignorant, close the door, and you done. And the result, that's it. The madhab will be dead and stop there. So again, to go back, and this is apply for some of the Malikiyah, apply for some of the Shafi'iyah, apply for many of the schools. So the dangers again is to use this word either to destroy the madhab, or the other extreme, it's you change the madhab to what? To Islam. The madhab is understanding of scholars to Islam. Yes?
Wouldn't it be dangerous if you try to interpret stuff, like just so you are a scholar, you interpret it, wouldn't it be better just to use them as a reference because they already did it for you, even though they closed the door? Because if you do something wrong, you could be held liable, but if you use their work, in the daily judgment, you could be like, hey, I use these guys are supposed to be the best.
You're right. It's there is a saying, it's not hadith, but saying, man qallada aliman laqiya Allah salim. If you follow scholars, you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safe. Which is good, correct. I'm not going to make my opinion because I can follow my desire and my hawa. We're not talking about this. Following the scholars, I don't have any problem. And I give example of the Deoband because it just happened right now before the class. Man, she brought me the fatwa of it. I told her there's no problem. And I see sometimes you see the fatwa. This fatwa is here. This is the fatwa about the divorce. I told her no problem. I respect this fatwa, I respect the opinion. You asked me about the opinion, I told you this is not the only opinion about the matter of divorce 3 times. There is many other opinion. They have their proof, they have their daleel, and you came me to give you the opinion. If you consider this opinion is al-Islam, we stop there. But if you want to follow it, I don't tell you no. If you respect these people and you want to follow this fatwa, there is nothing wrong. But don't consider it the only correct fatwa that accepted. Anybody who do opposite of it will go to Jahannam. This is see the difference here. Because I have all great respect to these people. But historically, to understand what happened with the fiqh, why they have what they did when this conference was a big conference, ulama al-ahnaf. What they did in Hind, they choose among the Hanafis. Hanafi is the most diverse madhab. Diverse. They have different opinion, very flexible, deep thinking, very dynamic madhab. What they did, they collect answer for every question. And they put it in one book and say the other question we're not going to even look at them. Talking the question from the same madhab. We're not talking about the different madhab. No, inside the Hanafi madhab, they collect certain opinion that they feel at certain time, and most of them they get the extreme, the hardest point. And they put it and they say, this is our tariqah. There is nothing wrong. I don't have any problem with it. The problem is to consider that your madhab is the only correct way. This is a very dangerous approach to the Sharia.
Because some people do say that you have to follow Hanafi, you can't follow other opinion, you have to stick with madhab and that's it. But I think we talked about it one time, you said as long as you don't follow your desire, but you feel like you follow the one that's right for you, Islam's supposed to make his life easy, not hard, so don't look at it like that. Once you go to a scholar, he tells you a different opinion, it's okay to follow the other.
And this is the question now, how am I going to deal with this opinion? We encourage people to follow one school. There is nothing wrong with that. Not pick and choose. Because pick and choose, I follow the easiest here, I will deliver to the desire. But don't follow the school as the deen. If sometimes, based on situation, there is other scholars who have some opinion, and you see that the opinion is correct inside your heart, you follow this opinion. This is the. If you just follow because of the madhab, and is the only correct way, then we have an issue. Madhab, it's not Islam. Madhab, it's a way how to understand, organize the understanding. And this is bring us to different things. Between Islam and the fikr al-Islami, the Islamic thoughts, the Islamic opinion of the ulama. Big difference between Islam and the Islamic thought. Islamic thought, it's my thought, how, not me, but the scholars, how they understand the Kitab and the Sunnah and the Ijma' and they understand Islam. In the end, it's opinion of a human being. When you bring the opinion of a human being and you cover it with a holiness of the religion, then we are very dangerous, we are in very big trouble. It's my ijtihad. It's not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ruling that no, la shakka fi. So this is very important to understand this issue. The second issue is why there is ijma' and qiyas. Why there is issues that, new issues. Islam is being sent for all time until the day of judgment. في كل زمان and every place. في كل مكان. So there is an issue that is going to happen in you, but you have a way how to keep the ruling of Islam, that it's come from the Quran and Sunnah. But the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't talk about using this PowerPoint presentation and teaching al-fiqh, or using the microphone. The big problem it was, how can you use a microphone for adhan? It was a big discussion. Is permissible or not permissible? And they still have some issue with it. How they abuse the use of the microphones. We have, they put the microphone in the highest, the loudest, and they scream in the microphone. I'm not talking about Adam Center, but in many Muslims. They don't say there is people sleeping, there is sick, there is people, kids, they are abuse of the microphone. And they think this is why the voice of the human being without because there is ahkam ruling apply for the voice, using the voice, especially outside of the masjid. There is some ruling. So the question is, when there is this invention or there is a new issue, we have to produce the ruling. And this ruling using the qiyas analogy, especially the qiyas here, looking for the sunnah, for daleel, if you don't find what to do. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen, what he said? Ya Mu'adh, how are you going to rule in Yemen? He said, Anzuru fi kitabillah. I look in the book of Allah. If there is ruling there, Quran is very clear. He said, فَإِن لَمْ تَجِدْ, if you don't find in kitab Allah. أنظروا في سنة نبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, إن لم تجد. Rasul said, what to do? He said, أجتهد رأيي ولا آل. I make my ijtihad based on what my heart and my mind tell me, and I don't add any, meaning that I do my best. And this is the ruling. This is the Islam. This is part of the Islam. So al-ijtihad or al-qiyas here, or al-ijtihad, this is part of the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you are in a situation that you don't find anything in the Quran, nothing in. Okay.
I think it's a good thing that nowadays with the changes in technology and how fast all this changes,
Yes.
we're not doing too much ijtihad, otherwise it would be too many opinions, too many madahib,
There is a lot of opinion and a lot of madhab, but again, and this technology, the good things about the internet, good and bad things, spreading the knowledge, talking about ulum al-din, it's become accessible to anybody. I can sit here to see this library, and 20 years ago you had this book that you have, wow, this library. Now you can have literally the biggest, largest library in the world in your pocket. There is books in now I can find that the ulama of Azhar, they don't have in their library there. Because all the books, they have access to it. But this has never happened in the history. If I look to any book, I find all the books here. Any book, old, young, new books, anything you find that you find. This is advantage. The other things that people start, the internet sometimes they make people too much confusing about the opinion. Anybody can say something. It's not authentic. And you have to be very careful. In one way, it's accessible, and people, they don't talk without daleel anymore now. People, they have to have daleel. They have to people. A million persons are going to ask you. You put YouTube something, you find people and answer, and people. It's created a dynamic. And it has a lot of benefits. So this is why the question of the Quran and Sunnah is very, very important. and the relation. Any question about that? So here talk about the Quran, talk about the Sunnah, what you mean by Sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you want to go through this, we can go. The Hadith and the Quran, and then deals with the principles. If you'd like to Ijma' and the Qiyas, analogy, and we talked about this. Now we come to something called Maqasid al-Sharia. So we understand the question of Masadir al-Tashri'ah. If I say Masadir al-Tashri'ah, what's the four important Masadir al-Tashri'ah? Sources of the ruling and the ahkam. What are they? Fadl. Huh? Quran, Sunnah, Ijma', Qiyas. These are the four. There is subtitles. They come from it. It's Tashab, and we know this. But the most important things that the fiqh is, the faqih has had the sources of the and in order. The question here, when it comes hadith, and this is very important discussion. If the hadith oppose or contradict the Quran, how to do? And this is one of the very big serious issue, how to deal with when we say here Sunnah in relation with the Quran. This is one of the big issues that it comes. For example, the same case, the case of this divorce. Quran talk about, Allah said, الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. Very beautiful, clear verse, ayah from the Quran. Divorce is twice. Divorce is مرتان. The third time, then إمساك بمعروف, you keep the person, أو تسريح بإحسان. Means either you don't go after the second divorce. First divorce, you divorce, you come back. The second divorce after that have to be one of three. Either you keep the relation in ihsan, in the good, peaceful manners, or third time when divorce, it's gone. That's it. So when you read this ayah, it's very clear. Talk about the divorce as an action. Like divorce one time, Allah give us another chance. Second time, third time, that's it. There is some big issue in this relation. You cannot continue.
The divorce in this context, you have to actually separate and go
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
and
exactly.
go away.
Yeah, you go, you divorce, and you married, and you divorce, and then the third time, it's to end it. When you read the ayah and you understand it very well, the meaning of the divorce is chances for this relation to be fixed. This is why إمساكم تسريح بإحسان إمساكم بمعروف وتسريح بإحسان. Because it's the divorce come here as a tool, chances to fix this relation. When somebody says, you are divorced 3 times, 1, 2, 3, pum, 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 done. You lose the spirit of the Quran. You lose the purpose of the divorce. And unfortunately, it become texting. Yeah, texting. Time 3, 1, 2, 3. Done. It's a shame. How the people misuse this great concept. Talaq is look. Talaq in Islam is really, it's very, it's amazing concept. It's to give it's an exit to relation that it's not going through what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah said. If there is fear that the relation is going to be tension and no sakina, no mawadda, no rahmah, okay, Allah give this as this option. But if it become a threat, sometimes it's threatening, I'm going to divorce you. There is nothing called threatening with divorce. You don't threat, you go for counseling, you go for istishara, you see the reason, but you cannot divorce, it's not something to threat the person with. I'm going to divorce you. Be nice, be polite, and they use it a lot. They don't understand the greatness of this divorce. So here, the Quran is very clear about this procedure. Even if there is some scholars, they have some opinion about this, we have to be very careful. So, the connection between the Quran and the Sunnah. Sunnah has two things. Sunnah explain the Quran. Hadith al-Rasul explained. And here's something very important. تخصيص العام or تعميم الخاص. If the ayah come, a general ayah, Hadith al-Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam come and specify this ruling. Specify the ruling. Or sometimes the ayah, Allah come to talk about specific subject and the ayah make it yes. Allah talk about al-khamr, for example. Al-khamr, the alcohol. Al-khamr wal-maysir. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, kullu muskirin haram. Everything that make you drunk, it's haram. Some people said, oh, Allah, He didn't mention the beer, He didn't mention the drugs, He didn't mention, and He mentioned you all the names of the different alcohols. We did the hadith come and put it in. So the faqih, Quran and Sunnah, they complete each other. They don't oppose and contradict each other. So you cannot be, this is why the Ahnaf, they have very important things. He said, we don't use any hadith when it comes to producing the ahkam. The hadith have to be strong hadith. And the Abu Hanifa, this is why some people, they don't, special, the muhaddith, Hanabila, they have very serious problem with the hadith, Abu Hanifa, because he rejects every hadith that it's even hadith al-ahad. Hadith al-ahad is that come from one person. Only one person narrated. He said if the one person who described Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did something in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and only one person came, especially when it comes to ruling, to practice. One person accepted, narrated. He said, "This means something is not normal. How come Sahaba, all of them, they pray after Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and only one person he said Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't say Bismillah, or when it comes to the Basmala or say Basmala." So he said, I don't follow this kind of a hadith in my fiqh, Abu Hanifa. Imam Malik, he has another things about this hadith. He said if the hadith narrated, hadith sahih, we're not talking, narrated by one person, one sahaba, and the practice of the people in Medina oppose it, I don't take the hadith. Because the practice of the grandchildren of the Sahaba, when thousands of them, they're doing the adhan certain way, and somebody they say Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made the adhan this way. How come this happened? They learning the adhan generation after generation, and somebody come and thiqa, we don't have any problem with his trustworthy, and he said that I hear Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam asking us to make the adhan this way. He said don't follow. So here when the question, relation between the Quran and the Sunnah, big question come. Some people, any hadith, weak or not weak, they build a complete ruling on it. And this is very dangerous when it comes to two things. When it comes to the aqidah and when it comes to the fiqh. You can use any hadith if it's encourage people to do the good things, called fada'ilul a'mal. Hadith is okay, but when it comes to ruling, that you're going to build the ruling in it, you have to be double careful.
The four schools of thought, right? Those schools, are they all in consensus in terms of what hadiths are weak and what are not, or they have a different opinion on what hadiths are weak?
The job of the fuqaha, it's not to tell the hadith is weak or not. The job, there is another people who do this, are the muhaddithin.
So are they agreed? Like when the...
But they have, yes. No, Bukhari Muslim, they came after that. But there is muhaddithin. Imam Malik, for example, himself, he has his own book of hadith, the Muwatta. So he has his methodology to analyze what hadith is the strong, was not, they have his method. But majority of them, the ulama al-hadith now, it's almost they agree about the hadith, they're classified of the hadith. Mutawatir, extremely strong, that many people they narrated, many Sahaba, they saw the Prophet ﷺ, they hear the Prophet narrated, many Tabi'een narrated. They are different people, they didn't talk to each other. From many sources, this is mutawatir. And there is hadith sahih, sound and strong hadith. We have hadith hasan is good hadith, is lower. and we have hadith ضعيف, weak, and we have not hadith, is mawdu'. So most of them, they agree about the level. What they don't agree about it, what to use among this. Some of the Hanabila, they use even hadith ضعيف. Yeah, hadith ضعيف, but they say to hadith ضعيف is not fabricated. Hadith is just weak little bit. The others said no. So this is why sometimes we have a different opinion among this. What you going to use among this ahadith? Some people, they stuck with the highest hadith. I said hadith you have to be very, very strong if I'm going to make
Hanafi, they use the strongest, right?
Huh?
Hanafi, they usually go with only the strongest, right?
Yeah, who?
The Hanafi?
The Hanafi.
Only the strongest. They don't even go with the side, right?
This is a proof for them, yes. Yes.
What is mashhur? Hadith mashhur?
Mashhur, famous. Oh, every classification has many
Oh.
different layers. And hadith sahih, there is many kind of hadith sahih, hadith ahad, hadith hasan, many levels, and hadith da'if, many levels of many kinds.
So what is the hadith we were talking about? The one person explained.
Ahad.
Ahad.
Hadith ahad can be sahih, can be hasan, can be da'if, and it's ahad. Ahad means narrated by only one chain. One chain. So, and this is how we start understanding now why we have a different opinion. The methodology make a big difference. It's not about somebody said no, al-haqq wahid, have to be one and one answer. It's not true. There is many different and all of them correct. As long as they follow proper methodology, as long as they don't have, we have other source than the Quran and the Sunnah and the Ijma', as long as they don't follow a hadith, fabricated a hadith, mawdu'a, that has no strength in it, then we will go. So, talking about Sunnah, this is a very big, this is part of what subject is.
You just mentioned Fazail Amal. You're not referring the book actually, are you?
I'm not referring to the book, no. I'm talking about Fada'il al-A'mal, which is the good, encouraging deed, sadaqah, sawm, not ruling, not aqidah. So you have to be very careful. When it comes to the aqidah, subject of somebody said that the Rasul made of nur, this is aqidah. I cannot take any hadith, weak hadith, talking about the Rasul is made of nur. I don't take this hadith. I don't take it. Why? Because this is a big thing. Should be in the Quran. Or somebody come to me and said that Allah, the family of the Prophet, they're ma'asumeen. Family of the Prophet, they don't do sins. And they are ma'asum, you're ma'asum. Tell them no. And you have to have proof for that. This is something big that Quran should talk about it. Or somebody come to you and say all of this aqidah. They said, for example, Adam when he left Jannah, he saw on the door of the Jannah, La ilaha illallah, but Allah, after Allah tafsir for the ayah, فَتَلَقَّى وَتَلَقَّى آدَمُ مِنْ رَبِّهِ كَلِمَاتٍ فَتَابَ عَلَيْهِ. Allah say word, he get words from Allah, so Allah make tawbah for him. He said, what's the word? Some people said in some tafsir, he was living in the Jannah, and the door of the Jannah is like doors, and there is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. He said, oh Allah, can I ask you a question? He said, yeah. He said, who's Muhammad? He said, one of your children is Muhammad. He said, I ask you, and you put his name next to your name, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. He said, I ask you by his maqam to forgive me. He said, I forgive you for that. I'm not saying this to lower the level of Rasul, astaghfirullah, Rasul sallallahu khayrul bashar. But we don't use non-authentic things to prove Rasul, maqam al-Rasul. Maqam al-Rasul is high without lying, without fabricated hadith. This is because it's go with the aqidah. It's true that Adam, this is the kalimat? The other scholars said no. This is aqidah, we believe what the kalimat, kalimat al-tawbah. He asked Allah for forgiveness. So when it comes aqidah, the same thing when it comes to fiqh and ahkam and ruling. We have to be very careful with the hadith that we use. Otherwise, we can be a little bit flexible. I know some hadith talk about shura, some hadith talk about sadaqah, I know it's not very, very strong hadith, but doesn't affect the aqidah or fiqh of my practice. it's encouraged people to give more, we have to be very careful. So when it comes to the connection, and this is usul al-fiqh that we are talking right now.
So
The
because
order of this is usul fiqh.
so because في آيات متشابهات,
Yeah.
that's why Rasul and the Hadith comes, but the scholars works اجتهاد ديالهم لو يشرحوا them. Most of the opinions according to them should be valid.
Yeah, of course. The ijtihad of the ulama, they did their best, they have knowledge, they have knowledge better than us. If they made ijtihad, we respect all ijtihad. I have feeling that ijtihad is stronger for me, and alhamdulillah, I follow that. But for them, they did their best. And we have to accept them. If they are authentic, if they follow methodology, if they don't use fabricated hadith, if they understand the Quran, we are fine. So, let me summarize quickly. Well, when you talk about it today, talk about this part of usul al-fiqh. They talk about the sources of the ahkam and the sources of qawaid al-fiqhiyyah. The sources of qawaid al-fiqhiyyah and the ahkam is big question in usul al-fiqh. Inshallah, also, if you like to, we talk more about maqasid al-sharia, explain it, which is related to this. So we have the classes, we talk about the sharia, the fiqh, the usul al-fiqh, and the maqasid al-sharia, which is a whole chapter that it's separate by itself and different than fiqh and different than usul fiqh. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
الله أكبر الله أكبر